Addiction to Purpose with Riches in Recovery welcomes you to our audience. We hope that you enjoyed today's show and will join the discussion by dropping a review or comment. It would be tremendous if you would like, rate, and share our content, or even subscribe to our channel. Please be aware that not all conversations on the show are suitable for children. Additionally, we may talk about things such as sexual abuse, domestic violence, and drug or alcohol abuse. If you feel that these things may trigger you, please do not tune in. Finally, if you are a heavy daily user of alcohol or drugs and are considering quitting, please consult a medical professional for assistance. Welcome to the conversation.
I am most grateful for second chances.
I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Those.
Or third chances or fourth chances.
Yeah. I'm grateful for just the last 5.5 months and how it's showing me how to live.
I am grateful for the 10th step.
10th step.
That I don't have to wait for a 4th step. Clean stuff up.
I'm grateful for life, family, and my home group, Dog on the Roof.
I am grateful for my sobriety and my family.
I'm grateful for my repaired relationships with family.
And I am most grateful for right now my early birds meeting.
And today I am most grateful for being present, the ability to be present with people and friends and for myself.
I just got back from a women's retreat and it was really cool and exciting and fun, and I met some cool people and I had a great time. So I'm grateful for that.
But I wrote the get-tos because I've been in a lot of stress, and then I got to remind myself that those are gifts too.
I have a healthy body and I have an open, loving heart, which is a big deal to me.
I'm really grateful for old friends this week.
I'm literally grateful that I'm not sitting in jail or dead.
It's definitely something good to be grateful for.
Like everything, I would say right now I'm really grateful for my health.
I'm really grateful for all of the things that brought me to the point where I'm at today. Self-awareness, I think, is another thing that I'm really grateful for.
This morning I woke up with absolutely no pain. I am so grateful you can't even imagine.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Addiction to Purpose. We're really glad to have you this week. My name's Rich. This is my guy Rich.
Rich V.
And we've got a new addition this week. We're going to be adding my wife Abbie to the permanent cast of characters we're going to have.
She's in the lineup.
Yeah, so now it's Riches in Recovery plus Abbie.
Hi.
So, we just wanted to add a little...
Man, we got to figure out something better than that Riches in Recovery and Abbie.
Nah, I think it's perfect.
Okay.
I think that's perfect. You know, there's no reason to change that.
Yeah, I don't think you changed the title either. I think it's fine.
Yeah, but we just thought it would be fun to have a little more flavor on the show with Abbie and add an extra layer in. Plus, she's always great every time we have her on.
I know she's a lot nicer than we are, too.
Yeah, well, in some ways. I don't know. You're not married to her.
Fair.
And we're fully aware that we missed our last episode. We had a little bit of a hiccup in health, and but everything's back on track and working out, and so we're back this week and we're ready to go. And let's start off with what we're grateful for this week. So Abbie, why don't you kick us off?
Well, I don't know. We're starting with my sobriety date.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Well, I'm excited because I am just really leaning on 2 years, so I'm very excited. March 19th of 2025 will be 2 years, and I'm very excited because this is the longest sobriety I've ever had, and so I'm very, very excited. So 2024 was my sobriety date, March 19th. I am grateful for time with family. We just went to Utah this last weekend, and we had a really great time with our family. It was a hiccup of a trip, but the time with the family was really important, even though the trip was kind of weird. But it was great. I loved it. We had a great time.
Very cool. Thank you for that. So, of course, I'm Rich, and my sobriety date is February 22nd, 2024. And that puts me at 9 months just a few days ago. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's
so very
just
happy
rock
with
and
that.
roll all the way.
And it's a very comfortable 9 months as opposed to a pulling teeth, feeling crazy 9 months. So I'm very happy with that. And what I felt very, very grateful for today was learning from others. Learning from others in AA, but also, if you've been following the show, I'm back in school. And being in a community of people that are learning together has just been really refreshing for me. Being 46 years old and back in that environment,
Yeah.
I just dig it. I love to learn, and I'm being exposed to things that I haven't been exposed to before, and it's great. So I'm really enjoying that.
Getting grades at 46 though, man, that's awesome. More power to you. I don't know if I could do. Oh, that's 60. I don't know.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah, I mean, I could pull grades like no one's business, but do I want to? Yeah, that's another thing. So Rich, doing really good today. If I'm checking in, doing real good today. Things are just sort of falling into place today. It's kind of nice. It hasn't been happening for me a whole lot lately. So, yeah, really pleasant day. Things that I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for this guy, his continued sobriety. That's really cool. I've been around since the start and getting a lot of God in him. Getting a lot of sobriety, and it's really fun to watch. So it's cool. Very, very grateful for that. But I also got to say, it's my sister's birthday. So I got to be grateful for that. So she's 62 today. Yeah, I said your birthday. I said how old you were on camera, sis. If you're 62, you're really old. Okay. And I'm grateful for that. And we're starting off a thing about gratuities. So yeah. That's what we're grateful for.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And to your point, speaking of gratitude, that's what we're covering today. Seems like an appropriate time of year to talk about gratitude. And we all have a lot of it in our life, whereas in previous years of our life, we probably should have had a lot of gratitude, but didn't. But we've learned to recognize what we should be grateful for much better.
We may have had a lot of gratitude, but it was for funky stuff. If you ask me. Yeah.
I don't know. Mine was like pretend gratitude. I would say it, but I didn't really mean it, to be honest. Like I would say it and be like, oh yeah, I'm grateful for this or that, but like my heart wasn't really in it.
Right, because you were still focused so much on what I don't have.
Yeah.
That's what ruined my gratitude before, is because I would flip to selfishness. What don't I have?
Mm-hmm.
Pity me. Oh, poor Richard.
Oh yeah. And it was pulling teeth to find something to be grateful for. It was like I could find one thing and be like, oh, I guess I'm grateful for this.
Yeah, I could be grateful for like 6 minutes.
Yeah, of course that guy's grateful for that. Yeah, I don't have anything, but man, look at that guy.
Right.
Yeah, I work harder than them. Yeah, I work harder than all of them. I don't have anything. Look at them. Yeah. I'm grateful for nothing. Yeah, that's how it always be. I'm grateful because I got another 30-pack of Bud in the fridge, so I'm cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So gratitude, it's something that we've learned to practice, and that's kind of my first thing to throw out to you guys is do you have a practice where you're really intentional about practicing gratitude on a daily or what does your practice of gratitude look like?
I mean, mine's simple. I mean, it's right out of the book, but I mean, I'm not supposed to say that anyway. But it's the same way of starting my day every single day. I do it purposely before I get out of bed, or if I have to use the facility and then get back into bed. But I open up with prayers, and then I just sit there as part of my prayers and, think about what I'm grateful for. And, I used to run a list on paper right next to my bed, and I'd run a list, and then I'd add to the list and add to the list and add. And before I knew it, I had this like 3-4 pages of people and things I'm grateful for. But, then there's people and stuff gets old in there, and you're still grateful for those things that are old and all that sort of stuff. But now I take the time when I'm doing this in the morning, and I take some deep breaths in the morning. I do my normal prayers, but then when I do gratuity, I like to keep it more currently what I'm really feeling grateful for. Of course, the people in my life. That's, I have a ton of people I'm grateful for and that I love. So I put those in there. And, and then things that are going on, and then things of nature that I'm grateful for. And I'll just keep, talking to God and being really grateful for these things. And, it's funny, the more I think about it, and I take my time doing it instead of trying to rip off some list or whatever like that. I take my time doing it, and it takes me from this sleepy guy getting up, sleepy bear getting up, to a happier mood in the morning. Because I keep thinking about things that I'm grateful for, and just taking my time and, oh yeah, I got this going into my life. That's right. And, oh yeah, that's right. I got this going on in my life, and I've got this person in my life, and yeah, that's kind of cool. And I'll think of it some more and more. Before I know it, I'm starting off my day great. I've been able to be grateful for the things that I want to talk to God about that I'm grateful for, and started off a day a great way, and I get moving that way. And so that's how I get my, grateful for. But I mean, if I don't want to expand this because everyone wants to start this, but one thing I do also is I try to keep it a practice all day long of stopping and being grateful for even the littlest things.
Yeah.
Stop. Hey, I love that flower. I'm grateful for that flower. I didn't do it when I was drunk.
Yeah.
I didn't do it when I was just thinking about that next beer, thinking about the next thing to get me high, next thing to ruin, basically. I didn't take a second to be grateful for the little things in life. And now I stop and take a second to be grateful for that little thing in life. And it gets you in that good mood the rest of your day. It takes me out of myself. It just takes me out of myself, and be grateful for that little thing. No matter what I have going on, it just helps me get through this. If I'm having a super bad day, helps me get through that minute. If I'm having just any part of a decent day, I'm stoked. I'm having a great day because I just noticed that flower.
Yeah.
And it sounds dorky, but it really does help.
Yeah.
Oh no, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
My grateful. It's been a journey. Like at the beginning.
Yeah. It is a journey.
Yeah, really. It's definitely been like it's been an ever changing thing. Like at the beginning, my sponsor had me writing a gratitude list, and I did that for a while, and I liked that, but it stresses me out a little because I'm like trying to think of things at the moment, and I'm like, and if I don't think of enough things, I feel like I'm failing, and so that's a weird thing. It's my own neuroses, I get that, but I did that for a while, and I do like that. However, I found that during the day has been more helpful for me, but I've also found that, I start with praying. First of all, I say that's fine every single day. God, thank you for everything you've given me. That's all. And then I start maybe specifying some things. But then...
and this is in the morning?
Every day. And then there's also part of the journey was meditation, because we have this certain meditation I call our the go-to meditation.
Yeah.
What do we call it? It's I don't know. We call it the...
Well, it's called the morning ritual. It's meditation.
Anyway... We call it our normal, I don't know, go-to, whatever.
Old Faithful?
Yeah, Old Faithful. Anyway, so it's called the morning ritual, and it has, it starts off, and then it goes into, relaxing and just relaxing your body and stuff like that, and then it goes into seeing what you want for your day, visualizing what you want for your day, and then it says being grateful for what you know and have and think and your family and all these things. And then, so it's like these little sections of things to do. And that really inspired me to think about, and it just was like this, like really visualizing the gratefulness and also the things you want to see in your day, visualizing what you want to have and see. So that was another portion of it. And then now I do that, where I go through my day and I literally will just, when I notice something, I will just stop and say, that's so beautiful. I'm so grateful for that. Like, for instance, like
It does take practice, though, doesn't it?
it definitely does, because you have to really be present.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not present, you won't notice. And being drunk, obviously, you're not present when you're drunk. And that was what I was going to say, is like when you're drinking, you are literally not present for anything. You're not paying attention to anything, even yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you're walking around getting bruises because you didn't even know you hit a wall, you know?
Yeah.
And so I walk around the building at work, and I'll go outside and I'll see the sky, and there'll be like just beautiful clouds, beautiful blue, and then the trees, because we have some redwoods at work. And I'll stop and take a picture, and it looks like just like a regular day, but it's just like the trees coming up into the sky with the clouds and the blue sky, and it's just so beautiful. And I see it every single day the same way, but it just looks so gorgeous, you know. And I just feel blessed to see it with my eyes, that I'm not blind, I'm not sick, I can walk, I'm at work, I can work. I just feel so grateful for all of those things. You know what I mean? I have all those things that I can do. I can work, I'm not blind, I can walk, I'm in good health, all the things.
And do you get a quick connection with God when you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With your higher power.
Oh, absolutely.
When you do,
yes.
Yeah, that rocks.
Absolutely.
Gives you a quick moment just to be in touch with your higher power.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Love it.
It's just it is a practice. You have to remember to do it, but once you start to think that way, it starts to become like a ritual. Yeah. Or like just a constant thing that you just go into. You know what? I'm so grateful that I have this, or that I found this, or that this thing worked out. Because, well, for instance, I don't know if we're already going to get into this, but last weekend we had a crazy weekend, and we had to reroute our flights. And instead of, we'll tell that little story later, but we were taking 2 flights, and we had to reroute to go to Las Vegas, and then we were going to take a charter bus to St. George. And so then it ended up, we're like, oh, it's crappy, we have to do da. It ended up that we found out that we can actually get to St. George cheaper than we were doing it this whole time, because of our accidental reroute that we had to do.
Happy little accident, like Bob Ross.
Yeah. So we're like, we can take 1 flight to Las Vegas, then we can take a charter boat, which is $30 instead of $100 and whatever dollars for a second flight, which is like way cheaper. So it's like, then we were like, oh, okay, this was really annoying, but we're really grateful for that, because now we can it's possible we could go more often then.
Yep.
You know, and our family can come here more often, possibly.
Yep. Yeah, and listening to you guys, you know, I think my practice of gratitude, Rich, you definitely remind me. First off, you remind me of when I was working on sobriety, and you'd ask me so often, well, have you stopped to smell the roses? You know, have you stopped to be grateful for anything today?
Well, it's hard to do.
He probably got really annoyed at that. He's like, shut up.
Shut up, you know, but your morning practice is very similar to mine, and I was kind of chuckling as you were talking, because, you know, when I wake up in the morning, I remind myself of like a steam engine trying to get going, you know? And so, you know...
a steam engine trying to get going.
So when I start my gratitude... So when I start my gratitude, I'm like... I'm glad I woke up. I'm glad I have a dog. I'm glad I have this nice bed. I'm glad my alarm clock went off. I'm glad my wife is here. And then I'm able to build up to okay, now and eventually I get into the bigger things in life that I'm grateful for, you know, but I kind of chug.
Like little pieces.
Yeah, right? Just to get my brain going. But it's a really nice way to wake up, just kind of building into this here's everything that I'm grateful for, and then I drop into prayer. I mean, that's the beginning of my prayer, right? It's just gratitude for the first few minutes. But yeah, like that's my initial. That would be what I say my initial practice of gratitude is, and then
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah, right.
I'd never heard that before.
And then I write out 3. I like to write out 3 gratitudes, right? So I just pick three of the things that maybe came to mind, and I write them down for that day. You know, just as something. Honestly, I never even look back at them, but I feel like just putting pen to paper, your brain works just a little bit differently, and so I feel like putting them down to paper just does something a little different with them.
Yeah.
And so I do that, and that's basically my practice of gratitude. Other than, you know, we'll talk more about it with some other questions, but where I plug it in to the rest of my day. You know.
Yeah.
When you're putting it down to paper, though, you know, what is your whole feeling and your thought process as you're putting it down to paper? How does it feel?
It's just something that I'm doing. I think it's just because it's just more intentional. You know, I mean, my gratitude, of course, is intentional when I'm praying it, but it's also just like in and out. You know, it's more meditative, I guess, when I'm praying it. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm writing it down on paper, it's more intentional. Like, you know, it carries a little more weight, I guess.
Yeah, it sinks in.
And like, you know, I'm definitely like a learner. I do well to take notes. Yeah. When I want to learn and actually remember something, I'm good to write it down. You know, writing something down versus just hearing it or reading it really just makes my brain work different.
Yeah.
So if I write it down, it just sticks a little more.
Yeah.
You know, I can remember a little better what I'm grateful for that day. Or
do you need to take it with you, or just that sticks?
No, I write it in a little notebook and then put it on my shelf and move on about my day.
Nice.
I do 3 little affirmations too. Sometimes those are the same. You know, I am happy. You know, I mean, it's just basic, you know, it's really, today I am grateful for whatever it is, you know?
Oh, the affirmations, yeah, it's funny. You know how in Saturday Night Live, they do the whole thing where the guys look in the mirror and doing affirmations in the mirror and so forth, and they're making fun of it. I do affirmations in the mirror.
Yeah.
I do. It's the same ones every day, you know, and I have fun with it because of how much fun was made of it before, you know, and different comedians making fun. I don't care.
Yeah.
I do affirmations in the mirror every day, and I love it. It's fun. I just make sure I tell myself how much I love myself, you know, and it's so important. It's been so important for me in sobriety. Letting myself know how much I love myself. Yeah. And that was a big stumbling block for me when it came to sobriety, is actually learning to love myself. I didn't know how much it was until I, you know, really worked at my sobriety.
Yeah.
You know, and continued my sobriety, and it's still something I have to remind myself every day. You know, and so I was told to by this big biker guy, you know, who taught a class, you know, where I went for rehab. You know, he taught us guys to look in the mirror and have an affirmation every day. He said he did it every day, and this big biker guy who taught the class could look in the mirror and say these things every day. I can say these things every day, and gosh darn it, does it work? Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I affirm myself in the mirror, in the bathroom, every day before I walk out the door. So, yeah. I do it. I'll admit to it.
Yeah. No, you should. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah,
it is. It's cool. It's fun. It is fun.
We do a lot of meditations with affirmations, and I do those.
Love meditating.
Yeah, I've done stuff in the mirror, but usually it's hyping myself up, not affirmation.
Yeah.
You know, in good fashion, I'm always going to grab a couple of quotes for us to talk about.
Got it, baby.
And this first one is, cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you, and to give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. And that quote is from Emerson, and what it kind of made me think of is being grateful for not only the good things, but also for some of the things that could be perceived as bad or negative. And the first thing that came to mind there is you know, because I do think that over time, you can look back on some things that were perceived as negative in the moment, but then how much did you learn from that, right? And the first thing that came to my mind was the first time that I heard somebody say, I'm a grateful alcoholic. And I was like, that's the stupidest effing thing I ever heard.
Stupidest.
Right? Why are you grateful?
Ridiculous.
I'm sitting here, I feel like my skin's crawling, I don't feel good, I don't want to be here, and you're grateful. You sound insane,
This is a cult.
Right.
This is a cult. It has to be.
Yeah, right? I mean, because at that time, my picture of 12-step meetings, it wasn't a happy place to be. It wasn't somewhere that you wanted to go.
Here's the thing, though. I will say it's not portrayed very well on media at all.
True.
It's not perceived by people who've never been.
True.
Like the dark room with the circle chairs and everybody's depressed is not what it is.
But even like the one that I went to when I was a kid, I went to one with my friend's mom. And I just remember, everybody was smoking. Nobody was happy at that meeting.
That's true.
But that was then. And it was also my perception as a kid. It was boring.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be there as a child, So anyway, but yeah, I thought it was the goofiest thing. But I can tell you, I look anybody in the eye today and just say how grateful I am to have experienced being an alcoholic. And that's because today I recognize that my problems went so much deeper than just substance use, alcohol abuse. Mm-hmm. The substance was something that I needed to recover from, but there was so much more that I would have never addressed had I not had reason to get sober.
Yeah.
I had so many other maladies happening in my life spiritually and, my relationships with other people and all of that I've been able to do so much now to repair. And just like this whole thing, like having gratitude, gratitude wasn't something that I even understood how to practice. And now I've got it every single day in my life, even on the worst day.
Yeah.
I have gratitude.
Yeah.
And that was not something that I could do before. On my worst day, it would be my worst week, my worst month, my worst year. It would just stretch on because I couldn't stop the negativity. But today, it's okay. I'm like, okay.
You get to pause when all that negativity's going and just cut it right off there and then think of something beautiful in your life. And then boom. There you go, having a good rest of your day.
I can't even tell you this last weekend because it was such a cluster. He called every day to the airport to get our bags. We had to go shopping before the wedding. It was like a mess, right? We were late here, late there. We had to call these people. And instead of us fighting the whole time, he's calling to get our bags so we can get them before we leave Utah. I'm saying thank you so much for doing that. And then we're supporting each other. We in our, what I call my past life, we would have fought the entire time.
Yeah.
And we would have yelled and screamed and been selfish and drank, and it would have been totally different.
And then instead we're able to just say hey, how grateful are we that we get to be at this wedding? How grateful are we that we got to be here with my niece for her special day?
Well, now that airline's going to pay for a new outfit for me, new boots, it's going to pay for the stuff, and yeah, it's annoying right now, but
Yeah, but yeah, we were able to look at things with much more gratitude, and even hey, the people that we worked with along the way helped us out.
And they were nice.
So we were grateful for them.
They're going to help you out so much more because you guys were cool about it.
Well, and like I said, we got to be there with our family, and that was the most important part.
But yeah, even today when I make some bonehead mistake, I'm able to look at it, just make the little corrective action, and then look back on it and go well, now I've learned from that, So I don't have to be tore up about. I don't get tore up about. I won't say anything. I'm sure something could come along that would get me for a minute, but man, I can't think of the last time that anything really got me. Not like it used to.
Yeah.
Not like it used to. Some will poke at me, but nothing really gets me anymore, and it's because I live a life of gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about my CRPS in my right arm before, my disease in my right arm, the nerve disease, and I've heard all these people talk about being a grateful alcoholic, and you know, I thought it was just a bunch of BS. There was a line, just to keep people sober or whatever. I just didn't get being grateful to have a disease that you're stuck with for the rest of your life. I'm different than everyone else. I can't have alcohol when they can, even though I'm drinking more than 10 or 12 people should have ever drinking in their life. I'm kind of used up on my card for drinking, but I just, yeah. But I learned how to, sorry, it's taking me a second to put this all together. Sorry about that. I had to learn how to live my life one day at a time. Alcoholism, I had to learn how to live one day at a time, stay sober, one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 second at a time. And there are times where I just so wanted alcohol, but I couldn't, and I had to figure out how to get through that second. And there could be all these different schemes and all these phone calls and everything that you can make, but I had to figure out how to not get alcohol, how to not go to the 7-Eleven, how to not do this, how to make it through this time, what to do and how to make it, and so I had to figure it out. And as alcoholic, and getting sober and staying sober, you had to figure all this out. I called people that would help me out and, got help. And I learned how to pick up a phone, and I learned how to get help. And, when there was no one I could call or no one like that, I had, somewhere I could listen to or something I could do to help me stay sober. There was always somewhere to call or something to listen to. And there was always something I could do to help me stay sober. There's always something to do that could help me stay sober. Always something to help me stay sober. No matter what anyone says, there's something you can do to stay sober, to help you stay sober. And then I got this disease, and it's something I'm stuck with for the rest of my life. And it's something that I'm in a lot of pain with all the time. Not all the time it's a lot of pain. I've always got some pain, but sometimes it gets to the point where it's unbearable to live with. And if I don't have anyone around me to talk to, or anything like that, I realize though that with being an alcoholic, I've learned how to pick up the phone and call someone. I've learned that there's all sorts of different ways to take care of myself, to distract myself, so I could get through that next minute of pain, that next half hour of pain, that next hour of pain. Before I know it, I'm rolling it through the entire rest of the day, figuring out how to get through that day and making it through the next one where I start feeling better. And if I didn't learn that through being an alcoholic, I know I wouldn't be here. I couldn't have handled it if I didn't learn how to get sober. To get sober by being an alcoholic and learning how to get sober. Yeah, I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, you already built up that stamina.
Yeah, and I learned how to figure it out, how to live on life's terms. Yeah. And what it takes to get through a minute, 2 minutes. You can do it. You can do it. Yeah. And
you knew you already could.
Yeah, I knew I already could. Yeah, because getting sober and going through the pain, I don't know which one's worse, pick them. But, and so I know how to deal with it. So that's saved my life. Pretty grateful to be an alcoholic.
Well, the only good thing I would say is you don't have to make amends for pain.
I guess that's true, right?
This is true. All right. So,
I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
I like that.
See, there you go. Something else to be grateful for.
I'm grateful. I'm right there. Give me another card. I don't have amends.
I mean, maybe to yourself, but not to anybody else. Oh yeah, I'm with you guys. I have shared this at a meeting level where I realize I am grateful for the bad times, even the worst times, because you can't see the miracles that have happened in your life without those times.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm grateful for those. The only time that you can see those miracles is if you have the bad times and then you see what's happened after those bad times. And you see the miracles that have happened. I think I might have even said this on the podcast before, but like it gives me chills just thinking about it. But it's like you can't. And I know it's so cliche to be like you can't have good without bad, you can't have light without dark, but that's how the world is. That's how the world works, and it's just the truth. The world is balanced. Mother Nature, God, whatever you want to call it, is that way. It's always going to balance itself out, and I don't like having the bad times, and I don't like having to try to find the good in the bad, but I also know that when one of the things that was kind of interesting, I feel like recently, because I've kept my higher power connections so good lately, that he's just following me around.
Yeah.
So like I'll either be grumpy and I'll be like this, and then the next day he'll be like, oh yeah, you shouldn't do that, you should do this, and he'll convict me. And then this other time it was like we were on the way to the wedding, and we were just like grumpy, and we're like and we're checking our attitude and stuff like that. But I was like, you know what, we really need to do a meditation, because I was just like, Argh. And so I put on the meditation, and I didn't know what it was about. And I put it on, and it's a meditation about finding happiness in the bad times, during the bad times, or during the stressful times, like legitimately. And I was like, okay, well, that wasn't an accident, right?
Yeah.
So it's
the guy upstairs was looking.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like all the little things. If you really pay attention, that connection is really there. It's like it's just like those little things just follow you around and help you out every step of the way.
Yeah.
And then you say, then you can easily be grateful, because you're like, oh, I'm so grateful for that meditation. That was exactly what I needed, And I walked into the wedding in a great mood, excited to see everybody, threw some charcuterie boards together, and we had a great time.
Yeah, when you pause, you can see God's handiwork all the time.
It's just, it's amazing.
Pause.
That kind of leads right into the next thing I was gonna read, is one of the lines from Stephen Furtick's book, Do the New You, and that is, a thankful thought is one of the few things that can match the velocity and force of a negative thought. And, so the question there is, do you use gratitude to stop automatic negative thoughts, which counselors and therapists like to call ants? And, I think, automatic negative thoughts.
Got it.
And, that's something that I still, it doesn't matter how well I'm doing in life, I still have that, that devil that exists on my shoulder.
Always will.
That just wants to go like, whatever it is, they don't like you. Whatever it is, you don't have as much money as you should, whatever it is, you don't have what you need.
They're judging you right now.
Yeah, right? Like, you didn't say that right, so everybody's judging you, and all of these things, and sometimes those things can get intense in your head, right? Sometimes that gets on a loop, whatever it is that's stressing you out, finances is one that gets a lot of people. But also, somebody says something a little funny to you or something, and you start obsessing about how they perceive you or whatever. And, I've had plenty of people tell me that, like, other people's thoughts aren't your business, but, you can tell me that 1,000 times. You know what? It doesn't fucking help.
You feel lucky that you're not dating anymore.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, because I don't care what her thoughts are. No.
But you can read each other a lot.
Right. That's true.
But I do find I've gotten better at the pause when agitated thing, right? I've gotten better when I do get something like that that's just tumbling around in my head like it's a dryer. to go, wait, what am I doing? Okay, hold on. How can I burn this off? You know what one of my go-tos is? Picturing my puppy dog when I offer him like the ball or a treat or a bone, and he starts wagging his tail and he's all happy. I'm like, okay, think of Luce when he's wagging his tail, and I'm like, there it is.
And these two have the coolest dogs.
Yeah, right.
They got a great dog.
He's rad. I'll throw up a picture when we put this up. But yeah, you know, that's one of the things I go to, right? Like, just picture dog when he's wagging his tail, and like, I'm like, how can you not be happy when you picture that?
Yeah, I go to a pet store and get something for my cat, and I think about getting something for their dog.
Well, he's the cutest, so.
He's cool.
I don't blame you.
But yeah, so I mean that's one of my locked and loaded. But I have a few things, you know, that I keep locked and loaded for that work, you know. And sometimes it is just lock in something small and simple that you can use for you know, combat. You know, you're going to war with your own brain, and so that's what I use. I don't know. Do you guys have anything like that is a go-to for you?
Yeah, you know, I've got so many pictures of my daughter.
I was gonna say it's gotta be Abbie. I knew it was gonna be.
Yeah, of course. You know, I've got a lifetime.
His Abbie, not this Abbie.
Yeah,
yeah.
My daughter's name is Abbie. So there's Rich and Abbie, and Rich and my daughter Abbie.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lifetime of things that she's done in her life that have made me proud. You know, that, you know, from the littlest things, you know, to the biggest things, and you know, that they just I could just pick one of them and gets me out of a bad mood like that. Yeah. She's done so many things in her life that made me proud, and made me stand up and look, and you know, not just proud of myself, proud of her.
Sure.
You know, being proud of her is a lot of fun. That's gets me out of a bad mood, gets me out of a situation in no time.
No doubt.
You know, most of the time though, it's just I just think about God. You know, I just say, you know, come on. You know, God's got better things for you than that.
Mm.
You know, God's doing more for you than to be upset about this. You know how much God's done so much for you. You know, why are you worried about this? You know, that's all it really takes me. You know, and then if things start to get squirrely, then I just think about something amazing my daughter's done or something like that. Then that, you know, that gets me out of any depth at all. But yeah, there's things in the past, you know, even though I've offered them all up and, you know, gone through my steps and so forth, there's things in my past that pop up. The old, God, I wish I had done this differently. Those things pop up sometimes with me. And it takes me a second to realize that I can't do anything about the past, you know, but every once in a while they'll pop up and bug me, and I got to get rid of those. That's the worst for me. Yeah. And you get older, I've been through so much in life. You know, I'm only 60, so I'm not that old, just old. But yeah, that pops into my life, and I just think of so many great things that happened in my life. It just takes no time to get rid of that too.
Yeah, you're not going back to the future, Marty.
I know.
You know, you're stuck here. Yeah,
Marty McFly.
Yeah, I had those months ago. I had ants running around, and I don't know, I didn't really handle them very well because I was trying to ignore them and they didn't go away, and then I ignored them again and they didn't go away, and I guess I don't really have a lot of go-tos. I think I just try to pray and just say take them away, because if I try to think of something, they just come back for me anyway. And they just I think I mentioned it on another podcast, they just come back like darts, and they just start shooting my brain. You know what I mean, like randomly. I don't know, man. It was weird. But I do think of like my girls, my sober girls, and now I have girl groups at church, and then I have my family, my mom, and then also I just turn on Whitney Houston really loud in the car and sing.
Whitney Houston, yeah.
Belt it out.
your little niece, and then you could always think of me.
Oh yeah, my niece, my other niece, the little baby one. I sometimes think of you. You're okay. You're fine.
So I guess we've kind of talked about this, but somebody might have something left for it. Has anything happened recently where you've used gratitude to halt negativity in your day-to-day life? So we've talked about the flight, which was kind of what I had in mind when we talked about that, but we've covered that pretty well. But is there anything else that comes to mind for that, or?
I do it daily.
Yeah.
Right. I have to constantly do it, and so it works.
Yeah, for me, it was funny. I was kind of talking about like nobody wants to be at a 12-step meeting or something like that, but sometimes that does it for me. If I'm having a bad day and I know that I'm going to my meeting later, I can be like, you know what? That's fine. I'm going to my meeting later. I'm going to be with my people. I'm going to be of service. I'm going to say hi to my guys or my friends, and I'm going to be in my community, and that does a lot for me. Being in community is so huge. I've talked about it. You heard me last night. I've talked about it the last couple of days quite a lot.
Why haven't we come up with this?
Yeah, being in
what are we grateful for? Being able to do things for others.
100%. I was getting there.
That?
I was getting there.
Man, because that's the best of the best.
Oh, that's
being able to do something for someone else.
That's it. Being able to show up. That was a big part of it for my niece and my family. Like she was saying, for them to see us show up, even though we'd gone through some stuff. To be able to show up with grace and be there and love them and be present with them and not distracted by anything and
still make it about them.
Frumpy, exactly. And still make it about them.
I was in the shower today thinking about this show, and I thought, this is easy. I'm just going to talk about. I'm so grateful to be able to do something for someone else. It's always the best thing to be able to do something for someone else.
Yeah.
And I always have gratitude for that. And I haven't even talked about this whole time we're here, but that's the biggest high you can have, is doing something for someone else. And they could be grateful for what you're doing, but that's not why you're doing it. You're doing you're doing it so they could be happy, doing it for someone else, but that's the best thing in the world.
It is, but it feeds your soul, man. No question.
It does.
Yeah, it's so funny because I had a really, really stressful week. I didn't even realize I needed a meeting, and I went to the meeting last night. And I showed up on accident for somebody else. One of my friends was speaking last night, didn't even know she was speaking. And so I sat with a different friend, and as she was speaking, it was a wonderful share. And so I accidentally showed up for her. And then we picked up another guy, and he showed up for him, drove him to the meeting.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And the meeting was amazing. It was so great. And then I met another girl who just started coming to the meetings from another group, and so it was like, and I got her phone number, so it was like this wonderful like trifecta of just like service,
Yeah.
It was great. It was amazing, and it was like just this wonderful thing to happen after this really stressful week. I don't know. It was like a high. It was great.
Yeah, it's funny. Whenever I'm in the dumps really bad, God always gives me something to be in service for. Always gives me something to do for someone else. Because I instinctively know that, I don't know. It just, maybe God knows that I need that to make myself feel better more than anything, is to be able to do something for someone else.
Yeah.
That always is best for me. And it makes me feel better than anything else, is to do something for someone else.
No question.
Yeah. And I'm grateful to be able to be sober so I can do things for others. That's what I'm more grateful for than anything.
Big time. Yep.
I can't believe it took us this entire time to think of that.
Well, and then so what?
Well, there's a lot to be grateful for besides that too.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful to have all the other things to be grateful for.
Yeah. Our episode that we're going to do on the 15th that's going to come out is going to be focused on service and gifts. So going to kind of end the year with that. So we'll be talking a lot more about service and being there for people next time.
Yeah.
Anything else on gratitude this week. Otherwise, I've got a couple more questions that are just kind of like about us.
Bring it on.
Yeah, okay. So in the spirit of progress, not perfection, our normal closing notes, what's something you've been working on lately?
Oh.
For me, I can start. I've been, due to school, and we're coming to the end of the semester and stuff, but, being that I'm in social work and human services classes, kind of a lot of the classes that I've been in here to start off, and I figure it's going to be this way for a long time, it's really been about looking through the lenses of other people that aren't like me, right? So looking through the lenses of people who are otherwise abled, who are of different ethnic background, race, nationality, culture, things like that. So it's been like that kind of attaches to what I'm grateful for is learning from others, but I've been working on trying to see things from a different perspective.
Mm. Cool.
Look, if coming to me, I have not been working on very much at all for myself. I've been working on myself, figuring out ways for myself to feel better. Working out different ways for, because I've gone through a period of difficulties, and been working on ways to feel better, and figured out a couple ways, that may help. If I'm utilizing them now, hopefully will help in the future. There's a couple of different ways of going about things. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
self-care is really high on the list, man.
Yeah, it is, and it may sound selfish, but it's I've got to figure out a couple things.
Yeah,
because some stuff just isn't working. So working with the doctors on a couple things. So,
that's great.
Yeah.
Good. I think I'm working on really, like I said, mentioned earlier about like God kind of following me around with the convictions and stuff. It's like I'm really trying to listen and then being humble about if I do get convicted, trying to approach that immediately, like as in making amends, or if I need to change my attitude right away. Because I had a couple of instances recently where I had an attitude about something, and then I got convicted like literally the next day, and then I changed my attitude immediately with that situation, and now it's just blossomed into something completely different. That's and great. It's amazing. And then also there's another situation that I just blanked on what it was, but it's been a couple of different things where I have just been like, at work, I had a really bad attitude, and I came home and I was like, I don't know if I need to make amends because I did this. And he's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't. So I did. The next day I just went in and I said, I'm really sorry I had such a bad attitude yesterday, because I don't want to bring that into you guys. You don't deserve it. We're all working hard. And everybody was really receptive, you know what I mean? And it wasn't like a big deal. Like nobody was like, it wasn't awkward. It wasn't weird. It was just like, you know what? I just want you guys to know I'm not trying to be that person. I don't want to bring that to you. And they're like, okay, cool. It was like nothing. But I'm trying to really show that I am correcting my behavior faster than I would have than before. You know what I mean? I'm really trying to do that. So that's what I'm working on, is really correcting my behavior in a very quick time frame.
I love that, because we get to make those corrections now, right? Because we get to be aware, and we get to do our 10th step, and we get to look at ourselves critically, and we get to make those corrections.
Yeah. That 10th step every day is just awesome.
It also like really takes a load off my mind.
Yes.
Like I don't have to sit and obsess about it for like a week and go like, do I need to do that? Do I not need to do that? If my heart's convicted, I'm just going to do it.
Just do it.
Just go the way of peace, right? Yeah.
I'm just going to be like, and F my like pride, forget it. You know what I mean? If I'm prideful, that's the problem.
Love it.
Just
love it. I love that.
You don't even think about it, just do it.
It's so beautiful. That's such a good message.
My pride doesn't need to be there anyway, so.
Yeah. That is so good. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, that's very cool.
If you have any questions about today's show or anything else recovery related, please feel free to reach out in our comments section, Facebook, Instagram, or email the Riches. You can find all of that information in the episode description. We will release episodes on the 1st and 15th of each month, and we look forward to having you join us for future content.
I'm grateful that Abbie was here for the show.
Absolutely. I was going to say
And
welcome.
for future.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
thank you both for hanging out today.
You too.
Thank you for being part of my sobriety today.
Absolutely.
I stole it.
And thank you to our audience for being part of our sobriety today. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time. We really hope you got something out of today's episode. We would be honored if you would like and share the episode or leave a comment with your takeaways. Don't forget to subscribe to tune in to future episodes. Have a great day.